I'm Paulina Leiser, producer of Focus Today. Thank you for watching this video, and make sure to check our other videos at theDove.us.
Welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson, and well, what do you think about last night? And we got some great guests today to talk about the last of the three presidential debates took place last night in Las Vegas, there at the University of Las Vegas in Nevada. And I'm delighted to have with us today Jacob Daniels. He's the Michigan Chief of Staff there for the Donald Trump campaign in Michigan, and he has some Oregon around his edges a little bit. Hi, Jacob. How you doing, friend?
Perry, thank you for having me on the show. Very glad to be here, and looking forward to getting back to those beautiful mountains and the coast and all that great stuff, all the green back in Oregon. So,
yeah, well, welcome home. Welcome home when you can.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, Perry.
All right. So, what did you think of the debate last night?
Well, I thought Mr. Trump came in and he did exactly what he was supposed to do. He positioned himself. He showed the American people that he's ready to lead on day one. I was very happy that the question came up about Supreme Court justices, and that Mr. Trump was able to make clear in front of everybody, in front of the entire world who was watching, that he supports life, and that he's going to appoint justices to the Supreme Court and to our lower courts as well that are going to reflect things that are important to us, like the First Amendment, the Second Amendment, life, things of those nature. And so I think that was a very, very important point in the debate last night.
Any indication yet, Jacob, of post-debate bumps or anything, or is it a little too early?
Well, I think we'll get an idea probably a little bit later today, so far as, some of the, I guess we call them brush fire polls, where you just kind of figure out real quick, how people responded to things. From what I'm hearing this morning, the focus groups were good for Mr. Trump. Frank Luntz did a focus group that I was taking a look at, and things looked like it went real well for Mr. Trump. And we here at our office in Lansing, we have about 30 offices in Lansing, in Michigan, but Lansing is our headquarters. And so we had a big gathering where we had people make phone calls for Mr. Trump prior, and then we had the debate, and everybody felt that the debate went real well, and we were excited about it.
What's the feel in Michigan? Are you guys going to take the state?
I think so. I really do. There's certain aspects to the state that really fit Mr. Trump. I mean, people call him the blue-collar billionaire, and a lot of his policies on or positions on trade, like NAFTA, TPP, the currency manipulation with China, et cetera. You see that he's someone who is going to appeal to those blue-collar Democrats that once made up that big tent that Reagan always spoke of.
You have any idea? I mean, I know you're leading the charge there in Michigan. Any idea what the next 18 days are like for the campaign? What are they telling you?
Well, the next 18 days is it's going to be a roller coaster. We're going to have our highs. We're going to have our lows. We've had some lows throughout the campaign. We've had some highs. I think last night was a great high for us. But, my job is to make sure that my staff keeps an even keel and a level head. And when we get hit with something that doesn't necessarily help us in our election, we got to keep our heads held high. And, when things are going really well for us, we have to stay humble and recognize that, this is a volatile race. And really, at this point, I know a lot of pundits have written off the Republican nominee's chances of winning this race. But, honestly, the only poll that matters to me, Perry, is the one on November 8th.
No question about it. I thought last night Chris Wallace did a remarkable job compared to the previous two, and it brought both candidates to focus on the issues. And pretty much, I thought the deciding moment was the first question. That first question showed the difference between the two candidates and their two ideologies. What do you think?
Now, the first question. Now, which one was that?
Was about the Supreme Court and the justices and the interpretation of the law.
Oh, certainly. Yeah, I thought that was perfect because Mr. Trump has now put out two lists of active judges who he would consider appointing to the Supreme Court. These folks have been fully vetted. They've gone through confirmation processes before. And so Mr. Trump was able to talk about all those, great potential nominees, Judge William Pryor being one of them. I think he's a tremendous judge. And so you really, I think that's what this election is all about. That's when it comes down to it in the very end. The difference is, how do you want your Supreme Court to be stacked? Do you want Hillary Clinton making those appointments, or do you want Donald J. Trump making those appointments? And in my personal analysis, I want Mr. Trump making those appointments. And you look at a candidate for president, and a lot of times the biggest decision they have to make in this whole thing, the first big decision is who they choose as their vice president. And a vice presidential nominee, Mr. Trump chose, Governor Pence, who is strong on life, strong on the Second Amendment, has a great track record. And let's not forget that Governor Pence did, in fact, endorse Mr. Trump's opponent in the Indiana primary. But Mr. Trump's not going to let those sorts of things get in between, having a good person at his side. And I think that, Christians especially can look at a person like Mike Pence and say, hey, if this is the first choice, the first consequential choice that Mr. Trump has had to make in his campaign for president, if we get more of this, things are going to be very good. And so I'm very confident in Mr. Trump's decision making. I know that he'll surround himself with the brightest of minds. And, Senator Jeff Sessions from Alabama has been very helpful so far as helping build that list of potential judges. And really, Mr. Trump has a great team around him in his New York headquarters that give him great advice. And that's one of the things that Mr. Trump has been good at throughout his entire career is, he knows that he might not have the answer to every single question. And so he surrounds himself with people that can provide that answer. And he's someone who's willing to listen and, very gracious person. And when you see him in person, and I really believe that is the quintessential. That is what this election is all about. How the Supreme Court will be composed for the next 25 to 30 years.
Jacob, 18 days. What's your game plan there in Michigan?
Get out the vote. Get out the vote as much as possible. In fact, we actually have Oregonians that are calling into Michigan. They're calling into Colorado. They're calling into Arizona. And so we have, about 200 Oregonians every day who get onto our Trump Talk system, and they call into our system and they make phone calls right from Oregon into these battleground states. And we have we're building up a robust team of callers here. Our door knocking efforts are terrific. We partner with the RNC in that capacity, and we're hitting all of our benchmarks. It's tens of thousands of doors per week, and we're getting that done. We're doing everything so far as the ground game is concerned, and really it just comes down to what the voters want to see so far as their future is concerned. Okay,
any idea what the voter registration is like in Michigan?
Well, it leans Democrat. Michigan's a lot like Oregon. I say it's a lot like Oregon minus the mountains. And so the same demographics, the same kind of electorate, the same sort of demographics that we see in Oregon are basically here in Michigan as well. But, the reason why this state is so competitive for Mr. Trump is because of the fact that, he takes a stand, against NAFTA and against TPP and things like that. And so people that, as I said earlier, people who wouldn't typically vote for Mr. Trump are going to vote for him, on the basis that, he wants to keep jobs here in America. He wants to put America first. And, I don't want to be cliche, but he wants to make America great again.
Well, good to see you again, friend. I know you got 18 more days, and right now we'll see what happens. But from all indications, Mr. Trump came out pretty well from the debate last night. I was looking at the random people walking through the crowd last night, just randomly asking people. And one of the reports I saw, it was 61 to 37 in favor of Trump. That's just walking through the crowd. And so kind of interesting. We'll see if over the next 48 hours, if there is any big bump there.
Certainly, Perry. I appreciate you having me on the show. And just to reemphasize, the most important thing in this election to me is the Supreme Court. And I know that a lot of you folks feel the same. And so, get out there and vote, no matter who you're voting for. Get out there and vote, everybody watching. And, this is democracy in action. So I appreciate being on your show today, Perry, and I hope you have a great day.
Yeah, good to see you, friend. Welcome home when you can.
Thank you very much.
All right. We'll be right back.